What's up, guys? Welcome back to another MontyVerse She Hulk reaction video. This time we're about to jump into She Hulk episode 6. Joining me as always for the She Hulk reactions is Nicki. What's up, Nicki?
Not too much. There were a lot of fun surprises in last week's episode, so I'm very excited to see where we're going from there.
Me too. I've been loving She Hulk so far, so let's just jump right into this because I'm dying to watch it. It's She Hulk episode 6, Just Jen. We're starting right now.
Or is it just Jen?
Maybe?
Maybe there's other people that we're expecting.
Okay, so judging by the previously on,
We're focusing on them again.
I mean, the betting man would assume that we're going to focus more on the villain story.
Right.
My queen!
If you say so.
My number one. I'm the number one Titania.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite magazine or sitcom or anything?
What's Titania's favorite magazine?
Yeah.
She enjoys Better Home and Gardens.
And sitcom.
Her favorite sitcom is Girl Meets World. Not Boy Meets World. Girl Meets World.
Okay, that's way too much of a deep cut for you to have known that.
I'm the number one Titaniac. That's it.
Aww.
I think that's for Jen.
You think so?
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so obnoxious.
That would piss me off so much.
I would never, ever do that to someone. Wait, she was invited to be a bridesmaid is already going to the wedding? That's a quick turnaround.
Time skippage.
Alright, fair enough.
As Shulky? Yes, that is a reason to go to the wedding. Yeah.
Shulky.
The reason I'm really excited.
That's a comic book nickname.
Is that the first time they've said it?
Yeah.
I think I'm so used to you saying
I
it.
love that line, who has a wedding on a Thursday. People who don't want to spend more money on a wedding.
Fair.
It's a self-contained wedding episode, and if you think this is happening at an inconvenient time in the season, you're right. That's how
Jen legit just said, oh, Daredevil's not going to be in this episode, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Jen.
Wow,
Looking
she's
good.
just rolling in.
Look at that confidence. Look at that swag walk.
Wait, is that Patty Harrison?
Everything about you is just working.
Maybe.
Oh my god, Mackenzie Kurtz from Frozen on Broadway.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right now. Everybody has an ass.
I don't know why I found that so funny. Everyone's got an ass. It's true.
It is true.
Is this like Jen coming to the wedding wearing white? Is she...
Kind of. Because, like, what is the exact reasoning for it? Where else has she just randomly gone as She-Hulk, though?
Yeah, obviously, this is the one time I didn't want to show up as just Jen.
Okay, well, that answered your question. But I think they've been setting it up for the past couple of episodes. I like that. Just Jen.
Mr. Immortal. I'm sorry. Didn't you say your name was?
Oh my gosh.
It is, but I go by Mr. Immortal.
I'm guessing it's a reference?
It's a big... It's not a reference. It's straight up a very weird character from Marvel Comics.
Are emotionally suffocating me, and you wear weird pajamas.
Wow, he just wants to lay it all out.
Hey, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he said so, so I'll take his word
Oh my
for it.
god!
Get this. You kill yourself to get out of the relationship.
Whoa, I don't kill myself. I'm immortal. So, in case I do die, but only in the legal sense.
Oh my gosh.
I die.
He
only for
takes up
the-
other
But I do
identities.
die. I said I'm a nice guy.
You said that.
He's a nice guy.
Have the opportunity. I think this is the most considerate way to end a marriage.
Oh my god.
Was there an insurance claim after any of the ends were switching identities?
Oh my god. Oh
What?
my god. I can't believe it. Now that I think about it, I feel like I knew he was coming because I feel like we saw this in the trailer, but I totally forgot about it, and now I just remembered. But I can't believe Mr. Immortal is MCU canon right now.
No, I didn't mean any. I didn't want that. Like, are you dating a guy? Oh, you know what? You still have a little bit of time. Lulu.
A little bit of time.
Jacob.
What?
Let it rest.
Oh my god, yeah, let it rest.
I'd rather hear this. Oh god.
Titania.
Never make any effort at all.
What are you doing? This is my
I love
friend.
Titania
Very
so
rude.
much.
You can't put
Oh
her
my
back.
gosh.
Titania wouldn't just show up to my wedding, you know, try and kill you or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
The love of Lulu and her
Titania would never do that.
Oh,
She would never do that.
Titania is so good.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did they give you a +1 for this? Because I do not understand the metrics they used to decide.
Well, if they like you, they'll give you a +1.
Basically.
How I'm treating them. Do you think you could help me like, clean stuff up around here, straighten up, take up some of these empties? Like,
Yeah.
What an
I could really do this
asshole.
on the inside.
Pretty much.
Real quick.
Like,
Thank you, Jen.
she should just bail at this point. Because,
That's
like,
so rude.
what is she getting out of being there?
A dime for raising Spencer Jr. alone for all
Whoa!
I spent $10,000 on a New Orleans
Oh my
trip
God.
after Arnie accidentally swallowed
Jesus.
a cyanide pill.
ladies
Wow.
and gentlemen.
The MCU Mr. Mortal's an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, we already knew that.
My friend sent me a link to a video posted on that site, Intelligencia.
One for hateful man babies.
Yep, that's the one. Anyway, you saw this man walk into a...
Called it. Okay, we're gonna have a lot to talk about after this.
I will never understand women if I live to be, and I will.
Well,
Why are you smiling?
it's kind of fun.
She is so great.
Yeah, I like Mallory.
So, the groomsmen were playing Mario Kart, and their shirts got all wrinkled.
Oh my god, from a video game?
Yeah, video games are sports now. They're on ESPN. Yeah. So, the bride's gone.
Oh,
So
Mm,
much.
why is everyone such an asshole?
I know, right?
That's so rude.
So brave. We just had to resuscitate him this morning.
It's like that's like a terrible prank
Oh
because
my
they
God.
all
Oh,
knew.
did you hear the background chatter? We just had to resuscitate him this
Yeah.
morning.
How about
You don't use the word mistake and my
Oh god.
Oh, God. Why is Chet in this show so much? His name is the Incredible Hulk.
$5?
Oh, come on. What a shit wedding.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
Oh
Jen.
god. I mean, at least she's having fun.
I love this.
Amy,
Yes.
you are going to receive a sincere apology with meaningful eye contact.
Nikki is so
Good.
great.
Good for her.
At least 15 seconds.
And remember, everyone,
Well, that's 20 seconds of eye contact.
Oh my god.
Interminable.
Oh my god.
Love each and every.
Oh
I just love how they were able to get every single one of them.
Oh my god. It's so weird. This version of Mr. It's so I like what they did with Mr. Mortal here.
Oh.
See?
Oh.
The passage of time. They're playing fast and loose with it, so you don't really know how much time has passed.
I think you're pretty great.
Aww.
I do.
That was fun.
It's cute. I like cute.
I
cute
know,
stuff.
but I'm just too nervous with the
I know.
show.
With this show, everyone turns out to be an a-hole. But I think he might be a good one. Fingers crossed. Oh god.
Well, yeah. Not a surprise.
Good. So supportive. Oh gosh.
Wow.
Never mind. Titania.
I do love that suit, though.
Looking good. But that was pretty savage. Tatiana Maslany's physical acting is great.
Wait, why didn't he go out with her if, like, with her when she went to go puke?
Maybe she didn't tell him she was embarrassed.
So green up!
Okay, we're getting a little motivation from Titania.
Hey, just this one time I turned She-Hulk. Oh no, I forgot how to do it.
Okay, I like that. That was very cool. Oh!
Oh, this is a throwback.
What
And
else would you play during a wedding fight? Oh my god.
The Macarena?
That's true. Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh, did they have a chocolate cake? I respect that.
I mean, yeah, chocolate is the way to go. Oh!
Oh. I mean,
Ooh.
that's completely on her.
Oh!
Where are you going? And I'm taking this. Wedding.
Oh my god, she took the cake.
I mean, I would do the same thing. But that was really fast. Like, that's on her.
Wait, why is she in her wedding dress? Did the wedding happen?
Yeah, this is the reception.
Oh, okay. Congrats, whatever.
Weird.
Huge boobs. Intelligencia. Interesting. Interesting. Hulk King? Bigfoot, Bitcoin. Oh my god, it's like Pepe the Frog. Oh, this is just Reddit.
Well, pretty much.
Hulk King kind of looks like Pepe the Frog.
This is what? What is this?
Oh my god. Oh!
Janice better off.
That's a good lesson.
Let her live
This show took a big swing, and I think they knocked it out of the park.
fine.
It's called Intelligencia, and it's all of these like memes and.
Oh god.
Okay.
Mallory is
I
so
said not to tell you
good.
because, I mean, you know, obviously I didn't do that.
No shit, Nicki.
When you get this.
Yay, fries!
Aw, sharing fries.
Do we hit?
Yeah, it's it.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, maybe the wedding wasn't that bad.
And he seems like a nice guy, because look, he's like on a date with her as Jen after seeing her as She Hulk.
Right. Well, he already liked her, like, as Jen.
Hopefully, Josh works out. Oh gosh.
I know, right?
Hulk King. Oh man. Okay, that's pretty ominous.
Well, yeah. I would say ominous.
That was pretty ominous. That was fun. That was a fun episode.
Yes. And I know she joked about it was just gonna be the standalone wedding episode, but I mean, it still feels like a lot happened.
It was like I don't even want to say it was filler because it wasn't realistically.
Yeah.
Like if you, as someone who knows kind of some of the words that were mentioned this episode, I'm like, oh, this is building to
Yeah.
something. You guys just need to. So it's not like this was a filler episode because things were revealed, and plus, yeah, we got Jamil back as Titania.
I know, and she got the shit beaten out of her.
Yeah, and we got to know a little bit about her motive. Oh, look at that, her fixing her veneer.
Nice.
A little bit more about her motivation. Oh, 20 seconds of
nice.
unbroken eye contact. Oh boy.
They're so creative with these closing credits.
I love these watercolor like court drawings, courtroom drawing style.
They do such a great job with them.
But I think every series has had really good end credits so far.
I knew it. Patty Harrison from.
Well, yeah,
I think you should leave.
Okay. I never doubted you.
And of course, most importantly, Mackenzie Kurtz from Frozen on Broadway.
Yeah. Da-na-na. Okay. No
post-credit.
I don't mind.
It's not essential every single episode.
Yeah. Not something I'm crying about that we didn't get.
Right.
But, you know. It is what it is. We got another good episode of She-Hulk, and that's all I care about, you know? But, yeah, this is a good one. This was a really, really good one. I essentially love how they kind of teased up Daredevil
in the
last episode, and then within the first 30 seconds of this episode, she's like, this is a wedding episode.
Yeah.
And I could just feel the angry people. I could feel the angry tweets and angry Reddit posts happening as she said that, like, where's Daredevil? I only watched this show to see Daredevil. Well, fuck off.
I know. I mean, to be fair, there's probably a bunch of a-holes out there who've been saying that since the first episode.
Like, this show, it's so weird because I've seen so many people say how Marvel's ruining the MCU and how this show is ruining Marvel, but this is She-Hulk. It's a She-Hulk show, and as someone who's read a lot of She-Hulk comics, this is She-Hulk. Like the scene with Jen dancing at the wedding, like it's very She-Hulk. And this episode, I think the problem is a lot of people are coming into the show thinking it's like an MCU movie, or it's like a big action MCU Disney Plus series,
or it's like the other Disney Plus series, even though they've all been different from each other.
Yeah, they're expecting like an overarching story, like a big overarching story, like each episode is interconnected and weaving and building the MCU. But this show is a sitcom, and it plays each episode like it's an episode of a sitcom. There's an overarching story, but it's not the driving force of each episode. So, you know, I don't mind filler episodes like this. I'm hesitant to call this a filler, but yeah, I really like taking these down beats. We got to learn more about Mallory. We got to learn more about Titania. We got to see Nicki in action doing her thing, which is always fun. She's great. And we got to see Jen kind of furthering her progression of struggling between Jen and She-Hulk. She kind of doesn't want it at first. She's kind of reluctant. Someone in the comments, a few weeks, I think it was last episode, we were talking, and they said that, you know, Jen, it's kind of different from the comics because Jen was reluctant to accept the She-Hulk identity at first in the MCU, and then she's kind of forced to use it. And now she's kind of really liking the attention that she gets when she's in her She-Hulk form. So we're kind of continuing that story for Jen as well. So a lot of things happening.
A lot of things happening. And honestly, all of it is just fun to watch. Like you talk about all these deep cut well, not even deep cut references, but just all the things from the comics that they integrate, like Mr. Immortal, who I don't know shit about, but just as a character is really fun. Everything at the wedding was really fun. Just they know like how to play with the cards that they're dealt. Yeah,
I mean, Mr. Immortal. What can I say about Mr. Immortal in the comics besides he's an absolute? It's weird because there's a weird duality to the character of Mr. Immortal in the comics. He could either be played really goofy, or he could be played really dark at times.
I feel like we got kind of both.
We got definitely a new interpretation of Mr. Immortal. Mr. Immortal in the comics is this kid who essentially becomes friends with a cosmic being called who he ends up calling the Dirge. I believe it's short for Demiurge. And it's essentially like this Grim Reaper being who he thinks is just not allowing him access to the afterlife after, you know, he's attempted the S word multiple times, and he's been in accidents multiple times, and he finds out he can't die, and he becomes a superhero called Mr. Immortal. And then you find out later on in the comics that it's not this cosmic being, that he is the final stage in human evolution. Man is Homo sapien, mutants are Homo superior, and Mr. Immortal is human supreme, and his one goal is to outlive everything and find out the question of the universe only asked when there's nothing left in the universe, and that becomes his purpose.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it's a very interesting character. He's heavily affiliated with a group called the Great Lake Avengers, who is just a group that he formed with people he puts like an ad in like a newspaper or like a Craigslist type of situation. And he forms this group called the Great Lake Avengers without getting sanctioned by the actual fully licensed Avengers. So a lot of points in time in the comics, they have to shut down or change their name because,
oh my God,
because the Avengers are like, you can't use that. Like, you can't use our name. You're not sanctioned. You're not in a sanctioned team. They're called the Great Lake X-Men at one point.
What?
So, yeah, very interesting character. This version of Craig Hollis is completely different. One, because he's been living long enough to have been married to a Baroness.
Right.
Baroness Cromwell. I believe is also a character from Marvel Comics, but it's really just played for the gag, and I don't mind because he's such an insignificant character in the comics anyway. But I really like the gag of he's so averse to human interaction and hard conversations that he would rather kill himself than
change his identity.
Yeah, than break up with someone or have to be but he's a nice guy.
Right. Oh, but he's wonderful.
I love when anyone says, "Hey, I'm a nice guy."
Yeah.
They're not a nice guy.
No, if you have to say it verbally to someone, that means you're trying to also convince yourself.
I think we all know people in our lives that constantly reinforce, "I'm a good person."
Yeah.
If you have to constantly say you're a good person, you're probably not a good person.
Yeah, that means that your actions aren't speaking to that. So you have to tell people.
Yeah, you're not doing the right thing for the right reasons. But yeah, I like this version of Mr. Moore. It's such an interesting way to use the character.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because he was a little older. In the comics, he's at a certain point in his life, he just stops aging.
Right.
This guy looks like he's aging, so the fact that he's like, "I'll never die," I'm like, I don't know.
I mean,
it makes me curious about his origin.
Or he just aged to that point, and that's when he stopped.
Yeah, it makes me very curious about what this Craig has been through.
I was gonna say, because like he had to have aged to a certain extent, otherwise how would he have had all the weddings?
Oh, I just remembered he at one point he dated his soulmate was a woman named Dinosaur, spelled D-I-N-A-H.
Oh my god.
Soar, and she was like a pink pterodactyl lady, and that's fun. But just shows the fun of the Great Lake Avengers. They get into it, you know. But that's fun. I also like how this show. We'll talk a little bit more about this show's commentary on like incels and men, but I also look. Like, you can't say that this show doesn't also take swipes at women. And...
Oh my god, this especially, like, at that stupid...
Yeah.
And talking about, like, all the digs against wedding culture between the obnoxious invitation with all the glitter coming out, the way to be fair, I understand her not wanting to take attention away from her, but, like, just kind of her attitude over everything, and the way they just saddled her with all these chores to do. I would have probably bailed like way earlier.
Oh yeah, I would have Christian bailed right out of there.
Yeah, the only redeeming factor is they had a chocolate cake because I'm over vanilla and I appreciate that they had chocolate.
Yeah, but when Titania took the cake, did you become a Titaniac?
A little bit more so.
Okay, good.
But
I'm glad.
And then that was the other fun thing is like the way that she just kind of came the hell out of nowhere just to mess with her, only to get completely curb stomped in the most embarrassing way possible.
I'm trying to figure out whose pettiness I love more, Titania's or Daemon Targaryen's from House of the Dragon. Titania, I think, may be winning because she literally just started dating someone. She literally searched out someone who was going to be at this wedding that she knew somehow knew Jen was going to,
right? Just
so that she could tag along to the wedding, so she could sucker punch Jen in the face in front of all of these people.
Yeah, and I mean, let's also like get to Lulu, played by Patty Harrison. Like, okay, so yeah, don't tell Jen not to take attention away as She-Hulk. Oh, but you have this megastar show up, but that's okay.
That's okay because the megastar is a celebrity, is an influencer, whereas Jen is a friend. Like it's the jealousness, it's the pettiness of like, oh, someone I know is doing better than me? Yuck. I don't like that. Stop taking attention away from me.
Right.
That's like if Ryan Reynolds showed up to my wedding. I would be way more excited than I would be angry. I'd be like, Ryan, thank you for accepting this invitation that I sent you. Welcome to my wedding.
Yeah, and I mean,
but I also wouldn't be angry if I had this is a bad example because I also wouldn't be angry if She-Hulk came to my wedding either. If one of my friends had superpowers, I'd be like, that's dope.
Right.
Let's do superpowered stuff.
Right. Instead, she initially is like, oh, I don't want to know about like all the successes. What about your dating life?
Yeah. Listen, this show is really good at giving commentary on the worst parts of certain groups of people. It's like the reason why people like certain types of men or certain types of individuals take offense to this show is because
it's reflected back on them.
Because they're triggered by something.
Yeah, if there's anything that triggered me, it was the dig against Mario Kart and esports.
I don't think it was a dig as much as it's like...
It's a really weird... It was a joke.
It was funny. That was a funny joke. Esports are a real thing.
Yes, and you get so into them you sweat through your shirt and need to have it ironed.
Yeah, and
by someone else.
Well, that was not nice.
No.
That was the not nice part of the joke, everyone. And then Jonathan, oh my god, when she was like,
the dog.
We had to resuscitate this morning. Be careful, he leaks. Is he leaking right now? Oh, that 30 seconds of chatter was hilarious.
It was funny, but it also just made me so annoyed. It's like, you were all in on this. Like, don't...
Yeah, it's like Jen was the odd woman out, and they very much made her feel like the odd woman out.
Yeah.
We got a weird Twilight reference, which I guess makes sense. Isn't it an anniversary year for Twilight? Who cares?
I don't know.
Who cares?
I never read it. I've unfortunately seen the movies, but that was like the hell out of nowhere. But then like I did like the joke of Lulu, like, I've dated both actors. Like,
That was good. Lulu, who you pointed out correctly, we never see her husband.
Right.
Could have been, listen, maybe in the MCU she marries Taylor Lautner.
Maybe. I thought for a second I didn't understand. I was like, oh my god, the dog? What? But
yeah, it's just really, the show is the commentary the show chooses to pick up on and chooses to focus on each episode, I think is really, really good. And I think that if you're offended by it, I think you should take a look at yourself and wonder why you're offended by some of these things, because it's really just calling into play. Like, Jen is just a good person. She's just, she feels like a real person, not not man, woman, or anything. Anyone could relate to her. Like when she's sitting there and she goes, I just wanted one event where I could just show off how well I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's so relatable.
I know.
Because it's not like she's braggadocious. We know she's not braggadocious.
No, it's like, you could make the argument that, yeah, even if you could argue that She-Hulk would take attention away, that's also just a part of who she is at this point. Like, that's just, it's kind of like that cliche of, like, don't, like, of how, like, people can be shamed for, like, oh, well, you took attention away because you were wearing this, or you did this, and, like, that's on you. It's like, but at the same time, that's also her just existing as she is currently.
She's just existing. She's just a human with regular human emotions, trying to, trying to just be happy for feeling happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I really, really kind of like that little moment that we got. But yeah, this is a good episode for Jen. It's a good episode for a lot of characters. Really, really good stuff.
Yes, good stuff.
Good stuff. But I think we have to talk about the giant elephant in the room, and that is that I was right. And I don't mean to be braggadocious, because we just finished talking about how that's a bad thing. But I mentioned last week that I think the Intelligencia could show up in this show, and that it could be a play on incel culture. I wasn't wrong, so that means I was right. And I really, really like that. I think that was a huge... It was a calculated risk by the show. I think Marvel has a history of understanding toxic culture, especially towards their female superheroes. You have the Brie Larson Captain Marvel situation that was pretty big. And then so they kind of credit to the writers and credit to Marvel for kind of taking the announcement for She-Hulk, looking at the comments, and then just kind of going forward with this plot thread where the villains of the show are essentially Reddit posters, are essentially like toxic, like online troll, the toxic online troll community.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's so self-referential. It's so poignant. It's literally people are going to... This episode is going to aggravate so many people, and it's literally you're just going to prove the point of the episode. You're just going to create this infinite loop of just like, I'm angry because you're doing this, but we're doing this because you're getting angry about us doing this. So it's so good, and it really is. I really love that they're using the Intelligencia in this way, and I really love how they're pushing in this direction. We still have a little bit of a mystery because we still don't know who this Hulk King is. I like how the Hulk King image looks like Pepe the Frog from Reddit, by the way. But the Intelligencia, for people not in the know, I explained it a little bit last week, is essentially a group it's a group formed by the leader, who is the Hulk's arch nemesis, and he puts together a coalition of the smartest minds in the Marvel Universe, which is his coalition of smart villains, which includes the Mad Thinker, Doctor Doom, you have MODOK there. Basically, any character that you consider smart in the Marvel Comics universe has been a member of the Intelligencia. They're a pretty new group. They were formed, I want to say, in 2008 or 2009 in the comics, so they're pretty new, but they're pretty heavily tied to the Hulk. They first appeared in all of the Hulk's Alpha #1, I want to say. And they've been a big part of really big Hulk storylines, like specifically World War Hulk and the Red Hulk saga. One interesting thing about the Intelligencia, it's funny how they were formed. They were essentially formed, they put all the smartest Marvel villains put together this group to kind of try and reestablish all of the things contained in the Library of Alexandria. So they're collecting all of this ancient knowledge, and they're trying to essentially be a hub for information, but only shared between themselves. So, you know, they many times throughout history, retcon history, because they're a fairly new group, we see that they went and they took things that they deemed, you know, worthy to be cataloged, and Victor Von Doom would kind of hold it for them in Latveria, because no one's allowed in there anyway. So it's funny, but an interesting thing about the Intelligencia is that they've created Hulks in the comics. They are pretty responsible for the creation of Red Hulk. They're pretty responsible for the creation of Red She Hulk. They're responsible for taking DNA from Abomination and creating a character called A-Bomb. You know, turning Rick Jones, a big Marvel Comics side character, into the creation known as A-Bomb, who is a Hulk creature. And so, you know, there's precedence for this group, the name association, at least, with this group of forming Hulk. So it's definitely safe to say that it's possible that this is where we're going to end up. Hulks are going to be created, or at least attempted to be created by this group that seems to be very heavily funded. So it's interesting. I love how the Intelligencia name is essentially going from, like, factually intelligent beings in the Marvel Comics universe to a group of very hateful people who think they are the smartest people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it's very fitting. I think it's a nice, poignant update for the world that we live in now to this group of people, because the word intelligence is thrown around so much, and people like to think they're way more intelligent than they are.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting. We still don't know who the, maybe pun intended, leader of the Intelligencia is. I'm just gonna throw this out there. It's probably Todd. I just don't trust Todd, and he seems like the kind of asshole who would make his name Hulk King. But it's very possible that the leader started the website Intelligencia to create kind of this distrust and this discourse around superheroes. We know that that's kind of going to be his role in the new Captain America movie. So it's very interesting if, like, we see that he, maybe in a post-credit scene to the last episode, it just shows him just in a dark room, like, all right. So that was one way we could go about it.
Well, what about your theory, though, about Holloway? Because I know you were big on him for a while.
I think I've evolved past that.
Which I'm glad you have, because I
was working with the pieces I had in front of me.
You were pretty intent, though, for a while.
Pretty intent. It was one video. I think only in the episode 1 or 2 video, it was my theory, and I said that I was gonna keep evolving my theories as the show went on, and I did. Proud of myself for being right, for being so damn right.
Yeah, you're not arrogant at all.
No, I'm just happy. Listen, I just think it's cool. I think it's smart. I like it when things that I think are cool and could work well are then utilized by the MCU, because I just really think this is a cool direction to go in. And because the Hulk and She-Hulk only have so many villains, and you're using Titania, and you're using these C-list villains, but to bring the Intelligencia into the MCU and to use it this way, I think is something really, really cool. And as a comic book fan, I'm really excited to see what direction they go with this, and this could really open a door to something a lot bigger. Like, I really think that this could be a tactic that the leader is trying to sow distrust into, like, the world. Like, he's trying to create hate. Like, he's creating hate towards female superheroes in this show, and then in Falcon, and then in Captain America: New World Order, maybe he creates hate
towards Sam.
Towards Sam for reasons that I'm pretty sure we all know why. I'm pretty sure we all know why a
Which-
large portion of the world will not accept Sam as Captain America.
And then the sad thing is, like, there's already going to be those people who feel that way, and he's gonna exacerbate it by giving them the platform to express it.
Yeah. So if these two things are linked, I think that would be the coolest. That would be so cool.
Right.
Because it's continuing this theory that I have that we're not doing movie, big event. We're doing a movie, one arc, like one character, like leading to one saga, like one, I don't want to say saga, leading to one story arc,
Right.
which also helps feed into the saga, the main saga, the multiverse saga of Phase 4 and 5. So I'm just really excited because I really like this idea of this new way of storytelling by Marvel. It's not everything has to directly tie into something else. It's not, Iron Man 2, which is essentially a commercial for the Avengers. We're doing these things, but all of these things could build to something else, which then builds into something else. So that has me really excited, and it just feels like we're telling comic book stories in the comic book genre, and I love it. I'm
glad that you love it. I love it too. I just don't have the background you do.
Yeah, I'm getting really excited because it's just like this was probably not what they set out to do when Marvel Studios was created back in 2006-7. But the fact that in 2022 we have a living, breathing comic book store, like a company that's producing content on TVs and movie screens that is essentially reminiscent of walking into a comic book shop and taking your pull list for the week and just excited to see the next chapter of this character saga, so that's really cool for me. I'm getting a little sappy. But I
we love to see it.
As a guy who still collects physical comics and as a guy who still likes going into comic book stores, I really love what Marvel Studios has been able to do in the past decade, over a decade.
And I think a lot of people would probably agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, listen, comics were not cool. Pre The Dark Knight, pre Iron Man, comic books were still like, oh, you read comics? Like, there's very much a stigma behind it, especially when I was a kid growing up reading comics. And then what the MCU did and kind of what these big comic book franchises did is they opened up that world to a lot of people, and I'm very appreciative of that because it's a fun time to be a comic fan. But I think that's it. There wasn't really, I checked, I don't think there was anything else on that Intelligencia computer screen outside of just, Mr. Immortals.
I mean, we might just have to look back at it because there was a lot of stuff there, but no, it was just a lot of slander, a lot of hate, a lot of BS.
But
probably a lot of stuff that wasn't true.
I don't think there was anything racking my brain outside of Craig Hollis and Intelligencia and what that sets up and hulking. I don't think there's anything else that I need to touch on comic-wise, but I'm sure I'm forgetting something, and you lovely people will let me know in the comments, and it will lead to great conversations like we've been having. So, if I did miss anything, let me know down below. But, Nicki, is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to this episode?
No, I thought this one was a huge blast, and kind of like what we said, even if she kind of indicate oh, this is gonna be the filler wedding episode, I still enjoy it, and that's
so fun.
And the thing is, that's the kind of thing that you would find in a sitcom, is stuff that maybe doesn't progress the plot drastically every single episode, but you also don't need to. And at this point, we're kind of it's ultimately Jen's story.
Yeah.
And we're seeing her story unfolds. So in that regard, I don't think it's possible for there to be an unnecessary filler.
Wait, this is Jen's story? I thought this was Titania's show.
Whatever, Titaniac.
The number one, I'm claiming the title, number one Titaniac.
I think there's better titles to have, but you do you.
I'm gonna do me. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. Nikki, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Twitter and other social media at EgglordNikki.
And you guys can find me here on the MontyVerse. If you liked the video, make sure to give us a huge thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts on She-Hulk Episode 6. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. We've got tons of stuff coming soon. There's going to be a lot of fun new videos coming out. We're planning a lot of things. So make sure you're subscribed. And until next time, guys, stay versed.